Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Boston in Massachusetts in America once again, and as you can maybe guess from the previous videos that have come up, we're going to have a look at another one of these beers from Trillium that my mum and dad brought back with them to Scotland from their trip over to New England. So for this one we're going to have a look at one of their regular beers. This one is called the Pier. It's an American wheat ale and it comes in at 6.7% ABV. It's not too often actually that you'll find American wheat ales in Europe. Of course, mainly the wheat beers you get over here are the German Hefeweizen and are leading towards that style anyway. But really looking forward to this one. This beer, of course, like the other ones from Trillium, is rated 99 overall on Rate Beer, so very, very highly rated. It was rated outstanding, I think, on Beer Advocate as well, and well into the 4 stars on Untappd. So as is the case with all the Trillium beers, it is rated pretty damn highly, and I've had a good experience with the beers that I've reviewed for you so far. So definitely looking forward to trying another one, and as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Trillium before. No doubt there will be some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the American beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyways, tell you a little bit about Trillium then before we taste the beer. So Trillium Brewing Company opened back in March of 2013, and it was founded by JC and Esther Tetro, and apparently Esther and JC were quite keen homebrewers, and they started out really brewing beers just to kind of celebrate their marriage and spend some time together and stuff like this, but they really enjoyed it and they decided to go all out and turn professional and start their own company. So the brewery were initially based in the Fort Point area in South Boston. That of course is where their pale ale is named after, and in this early brewery they only had a 10 barrel system, but this site has since been upgraded to have a 2,500 BBL capacity. They also have a secondary facility in Canton, which opened in December of 2015. This one has 16,000 feet of square feet of floor space, and it brews 35,000 BBLs of beer annually. And in 2016 they started canning their beers as well. As I've mentioned in the other videos, a lot of the breweries in Europe that are doing these New England IPAs, they seem to be canning their beers in this sort of 440 milliliter can, which from what I understand is an American pint. As I've complained about before, the Americans use some really weird measures when it comes to liquid. I wish they would just use the half litre that the Germans do, because it's more beer, and who doesn't want more beer basically. But yeah, since 2016 they've been canning their beers, and this sort of minimalist white style artwork is copied by a lot of breweries over here in Europe as well actually. But the company say their main problem over the next few years is going to be managing their growth, because obviously they've become a highly popular brewery and they do need to kind of upscale a little bit to meet demand. But at the moment you can only find their beers really in and around the Boston area. From what I understand, you can actually only buy these beers at the brewery. When my mum and dad were over there, they said that they asked in a few shops and you could only get the Trillium beers at the brewery itself. But it should be a really nice one this. I've enjoyed the other ones that I've had from Trillium before, so without further ado, let's get stuck into the beer. So as I always say, that's all you need to know about the company just now. Have a look at the links and stuff in the description below if you want to learn a little bit more. But let's get on to the beer itself. So this one, like I mentioned to you, it's a 6.7% American wheat ale. It's hot with Galaxy from Australia, Citra from America, Columbus as well from America. It's got a malt base of Pilsner white wheat and dextrin malts with some flaked wheat in there as well. And like I say, pretty much should be a damn good beer this. So I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork then before we open up. Just check that you're seeing this. There you can see the nice kind of pencil drawn sort of Pier thing there. There's the Trillium Brewing Company symbol there. Bring that up to you, the nice little flower. I don't know if is that a lotus flower? Not quite sure. But yeah, really nicely presented this one. I love the kind of minimalist artwork that you have on these, and you can see there is Trillium's address and stuff on the back, so you can pause the video if you want to look at that more closely. But without further ado then, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting. So yeah. You can smell some of that Citra and Galaxy coming out of it. It's, as I've said in the other videos, Australia I think is going to be one of the kind of go-to destinations when it comes to hops over the next few years. That'll be the next big thing. New Zealand of course has some awesome hops, and the Australians are starting to get in on that as well. But yeah, as you can see and as you'd expect from a wheat ale, this guy's poured a really nice, quite bright, hazy yellow. The mangoes and the peaches and stuff coming off this one, the mangoes are just jumping out at me with this one. Passion fruit as well. As you can see, there's a solid finger of a frothy white head on this one. Definitely frothy. Some of the other ones that I've had have been a little bit more bubbly, but in fairness, those beers have been a little bit higher in alcohol content. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. But overall, it does look pretty nice. So let's have a little look at the aroma then and see how we get on. Oh, yeah. This one, to me, actually comes across as being a lot more fruity than the other ones that I've had before. Maybe there's just a little bit less malt in it, right enough. The beers that I reviewed the deciduous for you as the first one that you would see, and then the IPAs and the pale ales and stuff like that. They smelled really, really nice, but to me this one just smells a little bit fruitier and juicy kind of thing, which is quite interesting. So yeah, of course you're getting a little bit of the passion fruit, which is coming from the Galaxy in this. There's a wee bit of a sort of peachy kind of cap quality that comes out from the Galaxy later on as well. But yeah, definitely some nice mangoes in there. That's the Citra, of course. There's a wee bit of a lychee, kind of almost limey character as well, which is lovely. So some floral aromaticity, which is what you'd expect. The Columbus in this one, that'll give you this nice almost kind of peppery, sort of spicy floral aromatic quality. And it's actually, to be honest with you, it's actually a little bit difficult to pick up some of the wheaty notes in this. The hops really are dominating the aroma in this one for me. But yeah, you can smell a little bit of that wheat. I always find, as I think I was mentioning in the deciduous review as well, the American wheat always smells just a little bit kind of sweeter, if that makes sense. The German Hefeweizen beers, they do have a little bit more of that kind of banana, clovey sort of thing. This one, to me, does smell a little bit more white bready and sweet, if that makes sense. And you can smell a little bit of that sort of dextrin, kind of almost oaty quality coming out of this beer, almost a little bit lactosey. You can smell that. When you sugar it up a bit more, you do start to get just a little bit of that sort of banana clovey thing that you'd expect from a wheat beer. But for me, this one definitely leans towards the nice kind of juicy, fruity sort of thing. So as I always say, take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma before you get stuck in. But let's have a go at this beer and see how we get on. This is the Pier from Trillium Brewing Company. Slàinte. Alright guys, sorry about the edit there. Camera just decided it was going to play silly buggers, so let's go again. This is the Pier, the American wheat ale from Trillium Brewing Company over in Boston, Massachusetts. Slàinte. So yeah, pretty damn good beer. No doubt about that. And it's the thing that's striking me about this one, first off, is just kind of how smooth and how clean it is. It comes across nice and wet and just nice and drinkable, actually. That's the thing I always found a bit different about the German Hefeweizen. They are drinkable, don't get me wrong, but they just kind of bombard you a little bit with the malt base. It's the big, thick, bready character that always jumps out at you with these beers. This one's just a little bit cleaner and a little bit more easygoing, if that makes sense, with the American wheat ale, that is generally. But yeah, that's a pretty damn well done beer. So yeah, with this one, as I said, it's got quite a nice, wet, easy drinking mouthfeel to it. I think that's a good way to sum it up. So in the middle of your palate, you get what you expect. You can feel a little bit of that white, bready character just blanket in the middle of your tongue. On top of it, there's a little bit more of a kind of sweeter character to it, if that makes sense. You can feel a little bit of that sweeter, wheaty character there, and the sort of dextrin malts just pushing their way out a little bit. The flaked wheat, I think, gives it a little bit of thickness. You can feel there's a little bit of an almost kind of cereally character to it, and as you progress further into the aftertaste, you get a little bit of that banana, almost kind of clovey character coming out of the beer as well. But the malt base in this one really is kind of quite smooth, and particularly as you move out towards the back sides of your palate, that's where you get some of these kind of banana bubblegummy, sort of wheaty, clovey sort of flavours that you would expect of the wheat ale. It does lean a little bit towards the Weizen in that kind of sense, but really the sort of cleanliness that you get from this beer takes it kind of easily into the American wheat ale category. Not that they're going to make a mistake, of course, just trying to describe it for you guys a little bit. But yeah, hops on this are just kind of what you expect. A tiny little bit of earthiness in the back corner of the palate, and as you come further forward, you can feel that nice, slightly sort of peppery, spicy floral aromaticity that you expect of the Columbus. As you go round the front curve of the palate, there's a nice lighter, grassy sort of thing. You can feel there's a little bit of an almost lemony quality to it as well, which is quite interesting. But most of the complexity in this beer, of course, comes out from the and the little oily bubble that you get behind the front curve of your tongue, that's where you're going to get these nice, juicy, fruity esters out of the beer. So yeah, I think the passion fruits are kind of underpinning this one, and just as the beer mellows out a little bit, you start to get the kind of mangoes. You get a little bit of the mangoes from the citra hop in this one, and as you progress further and further into the aftertaste, you get a little bit of the gooseberry, a little bit of the lychee, and things like that. You do get a little bit of that sharpness from the peach in there, which will come. You get a nice little bit of peachy quality coming out of the Galaxy too. The fruits in this one just go together really well, and there's almost a little bit of a kind of limey flavour too, which is really interesting. It's a damn good beer. I do like it when they can take these wheat beers and just kind of hop them up a little bit. I do wonder exactly where you draw the line between, for example, like a white IPA and the American wheat ale, because they do seem to be kind of interlinked in some way. I do wonder if the white IPA is just something that European breweries have tended to coin, because I found the white IPAs do have a little bit more of that Weizen quality to them. But you know, the main thing is, you can talk about styles all day and debate exactly what style of beer is. The main point is if it's a good beer or not, and this one, you know, it certainly is that. I can see why it is highly rated. It's really easy drinking, and it is interesting for me to go from drinking mainly the Weizens to drinking these American wheat ales. These really aren't as common in Europe, like I was saying. But yeah, that's a really nice beer. So in terms of the mouthfeel of this one then, I would say this one's kind of mid-bodied actually, maybe pushing the light-bodied side of things. The carbonation's very smooth, it leans more towards the oily side of things, and for me that's the unusual thing about a wheat beer. Usually we expect the wheat beers to be a bit kind of bigger and smoother than that, but I do like this slightly oily quality that it has. There's a good bit of hoppy bitterness to this one, there's some nice juicy fruits. The fruits are quite oily, and it does lean towards the darker side of things with the fruits, those dark oily fruits that are dominating, but you get some of the lighter juicy ones a little bit later on. And the malt base overall is quite smooth. There's a little bit of sweetness in there. You can detect a little bit of the graininess from the Pilsner malts coming out and the flaked wheat as well. But overall, the beer's just really nicely balanced, and this is quite a sessionable one. This, so the Pale Ale, the IPA. So it was the Congress Street was the IPA. The was it the Point beer? I forget the name of it. The something Point. The Pale Ale was really good as well. And then this one is another really nice sessionable beer. So it just kind of depends on how you like your beers actually. This one, I have to admit, I really like, and I would love to try it on tap and just see how it would be with a slightly thicker mouthfeel, because this one, it is just unusual for me a little bit that there's such a kind of wet mouthfeel to this, but in terms of the quality of the beer, it really is pretty damn good, so I'm glad that I got to try it. So yeah, it's been really cool to review this one for you. As always, I hope you've enjoyed my take on this beer. It's been really cool to review some of these Trillium ones for you. I do have a nice porter beer to review for you in the coming days as well, so I hope you'll enjoy that. But until the next time, it's Slange just now. Thank you once again for watching. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite Trillium beers are, and do recommend some other breweries for me as well. But this was the Pier, an American wheat ale at 6.7% from Trillium Brewing Company in Boston, Massachusetts. Once again, a huge thank you to my mum and dad for bringing me this beer, and also thank you to you guys, the viewers, for checking out. Make sure you check out all my social media and all these things, and most importantly, support your local craft breweries. Slange just now, I'll catch you guys very soon.